Hi, everyone. Welcome to the ACU Online Writing Center webinar on decoding instructor feedback. I'm Dr. Ingrid Bradley, an OWC tutor and your host. Thanks for joining. Now, in this short webinar, we will cover within 30 minutes some key strategies for interpreting the all-important feedback you get from instructors. First, I'd like to tell you about the OWC and how we can help you with your writing projects. Check us out on the Online Writing Center homepage in My ACU. There you can watch a video for steps to make one of two types of appointments: asynchronous for email feedback and synchronous for a live Zoom feedback session. You can connect with us at any stage of the writing process, even when you're contemplating an assignment. We also have many helpful resources for you on our website. It's simple. Just schedule an appointment at WC Online and submit your paper to the week's Canvas box. We have a few webinars coming up that you might be interested in. Following this webinar is one on the logic of style systems such as APA. Then on Wednesday next week, we have one on the annotated bibliography. And the following week, we have one on summaries of research. You can check out other recorded webinars on our website and our YouTube channel. Other resources you might like are the very handy APA course paper template, our YouTube channel, and our OWC blogs. And you can connect with us via email, schedule an appointment, and visit us on our website. Our learning objectives for this short webinar are to understand what instructors emphasize in assignment assessment, also to recognize and apply what we term task words, and to address those task words in compositions. In your college experience, you will likely receive instructor feedback on your writing assignments. This can be in the form of direct written remarks from your instructor and from a rubric associated with the assignment. To better understand the nature of writing feedback, it's helpful to think in terms of some powerful and potential key areas of emphasis. This would be following assignment directions, mechanics, such as grammar, punctuation, and spelling, format, APA style, genre, or the type of assignment that requires a specific format, attribution, that's giving sources credit where appropriate. Connecting ideas. Usually, instructors will follow the rubric when reviewing your work, and they will also ensure that all elements of the assignment are met within the requirements of depth and breadth. First, to understand an instructor's feedback is to start with the assignment instructions. These are essential ingredients toward understanding feedback. Assignments include what are known as task words. It's very helpful to understand these task words and address your composition accordingly. Here are some examples of task words. Account for. Why something is or isn't the way it is, similar to explain. Analyze. Select essential details of an artifact, an idea, or an issue. Examine how they relate to each other and to other ideas toward enhanced understanding. Present ideas and problems from different perspectives. Provide evidence. That's analysis. What about assess? That's where you measure or evaluate one or more aspects of something. For example, the effectiveness, the significance or truth of something. Provide detail in the outcomes of these evaluations. Look for these types of words in the assignment. The instructor may ask you to account for, analyze further, or provide a detailed assessment. And here are some more task words to consider. Compare. That's where you show the similarity between two or more items or ideas. Contrast. That's where you show the difference between two or more items and ideas. Both compare and contrast show similarities and differences. What if your instructions call for critically analyzing something? That's where you take the analysis in question, test, and articulate the strength of your and others' analyses from different perspectives. Turn this into a reasoned and objective argument. Other task words to consider: critically assess. As with assess alone, this is emphasizing your judgments made about arguments by others and about what you are assessing from different perspectives. This often means making the whole essay a reasoned argument for your overall case based on your judgments. Critically evaluate. As with evaluate, but here you show how judgments vary from different perspectives and how some judgments are stronger than others. This often means creating an objective, reasoned argument for your overall case based on the evaluation from, again, different perspectives. Now, if your instructions say define, or if that's feedback that your instructor is providing, here's where you would present a precise meaning. More task words: describe, discuss, and examine. Describe, here you'd want to briefly or in detail state the relevant qualities of an idea, an object, or maybe even a process. How about discuss? Here you would want to state specific details about and provide evidence for something. That can be an idea, a concept, perhaps with differing views. Maybe include explanations of which ideas, views, and processes are the strongest. Examine. Here you'd review something and state the relevant detail in the context of the question or the inquiry. Explain, explore, and evaluate. With explain, you want to give enough description or information to make something clear or easy to understand. Explore. Here, you have an opportunity to consider an idea or topic broadly, searching out related and or particularly relevant, interesting, or debatable points. Evaluate. Now, this is similar to assess, but here we have the emphasis on judgment, explaining the extent something is effective, how it's useful, and perhaps how it is true. It's a touch more subjective, and it's also contestable. Here are more task words: identify, illustrate, justify, and outline. Identify, here you'd want to recognize specifics and details. It can be an idea, piece of evidence, maybe facts, problems, theories, and so forth. Illustrate is where you provide specific examples that help describe or explain further. Sometimes illustrations are visuals, and they're better suited than text. Justify. Here's where you would explain the reasons, usually viable reasons, for something being done or believed, considering different possible views and ideas. When you're asked to outline, or your instructor provides feedback to outline, here you would want to provide the overall main points or ideas without too much detail. Lastly, summarize and state. These are two more very important task words to consider. When you're asked to summarize, or your instructor says to summarize, here you'd want to concisely state or restate the most important details. Take the outline a bit further for an overall impression of an idea or a concept. And state, here you'd want to clearly and succinctly express an idea, a concept, or a viewpoint. Here's a decode example. Your instructor states, explain further how, etc. This means more depth is needed by providing additional descriptions or information that provides additional clarity. Here are some examples and solutions. Writer's strategy. Assignment instructions usually include word count and format. Word count tells you the breadth and the depth that is required, and this guideline should be followed. Falling under the word count expectations may result in a lack of detail. Going well over the maximum word count could be exceeding the expectations, but also be the result of excessive wordiness. In either case, meeting the instructor's request is respectful and it's smart. Instructor feedback. Let's say the instructor states word count not met. Provide more detail or trim anything not essential to the assignment. The solution here would be to expand areas where more analysis and details could be provided. Look at those task words. And maybe even reduce wordiness and any extraneous information if you're over the word count. Most instructors expect college students to be mindful of spelling, punctuation, organization, and grammar. Instructors' feedback. Proofread carefully. Run-on sentences. Sentence fragments. Topic sentence are missing. Where is your thesis statement? Your solution. Spend time in revision. Spend time in editing and proofreading stages of the process. Also, maybe make time to have your paper proofread professionally before turning it in. Writer's strategy, format, and style. Follow APA format and style. Follow annotated bibliography format. Assignment format not followed. This is fairly common instructor feedback. The solution. Pay close attention to the required format for the assignment. It matters and may take additional time and planning. The APA paper template that we provide is helpful, as are many OWC webinars on this topic. Also, sometimes instructors include a template within the assignment, and that's something you want to keep an eye out for. Writer's strategy, attribution. Here's an instructor feedback. Cite this. Who said this? Where is the attribution? Attribute this to a source. Your solution here is, of course, to keep track of what your sources state and always attribute with an in-text citation that directly corresponds with a reference at the end of the paper in proper APA style. Writer strategy, connection. Here, let's say your instructor's feedback is connect these ideas. How might you connect this to your main point? How do these ideas connect with one another? How might you synthesize the research? Here, the solution is wherever you make statements about some research or an author's ideas, connect that with your main point or your thesis. Try not to leave statements alone. Scaffold them with support and cradle them with transitional words and phrases that further connect ideas and support. Your takeaways. If you're ever in doubt about the purpose of an assignment and the instructor's feedback, look at the course objectives. Feed forward your feedback and continue to improve. Instructors want you to learn. Their feedback is about guiding you toward those learning objectives. Most often, instructors address front end and processes that can be addressed during the planning and outlining stage of your writing process. Again, feed forward your feedback toward continuous improvement. It helps to get to know those task words and what the instructor feedback means. You can also front load your work by addressing those task words initially and in as much detail as possible. Here is the task word evaluate, for example. An option here is to take the definition and outline it into specific parts and then elaborate on each of those elements. Notice the key words here in evaluate. Something is effective, useful, true, and relevant. You can outline it by asking yourself, and of course answering in the context of your assignment, how is it effective, useful, true, or relevant? This is how you could address the task word evaluate. Here's an example of an assignment. This is an actual ACU online course assignment. Notice all the task words here. Along with outlining the specific task word items, you can also make a checklist to ensure the format is correct. Also, notice the requirements for a certain number and type of articles for support. These details can also go into your checklist or assignment outline. Format here would be page number and this paper specifically to be in APA format for the citations and references. Again, your instructor is going to follow these task words in the assignment and also in the rubric. A writer's strategy when decoding instructor feedback is to notice the task words that are used in the feedback and also in the assignment itself. Think about the task word and its subpoints. Here's an example of explain. It's much more thorough to outline the explanation here than to free write something. By outlining it, you can be sure to capture the essential details. While the instructor feedback is so very important toward feed forwarding your growth opportunities, it's also good practice to do this as much as you can in the front end by providing the details that are asked for in the assignment. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar on decoding instructor feedback and that you'll join us for many more. Just a reminder that there is a webinar on the logic of style following this one. We have another webinar again on Wednesday next week on writing an annotated bibliography, and the week after on the 16th of November, writing summaries for research. You can reach us these 3 ways. And thank you again for joining us. And if you have any questions, please do email us.